Eddie, I was one of the people that wrote him off, man. I was one of the people that said he wasn't going to do it. He had to change his game plan. I didn't believe he could box for 12, and he did it, man. He did something he had not shown in his career to that point. He always out-muscled guys. Can you reflect on the performance of Anthony Joshua and just reflect on it? He puts himself in the conversation of one of the top heavyweights once again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you recognise what he had to do and what people thought he can't do, because you still get a 10 or 15% of people, oh, it's a bit boring. Oh, Ruiz was overweight. Ruiz was overweight in the first fight. Joshua just boxed the wrong fight. What he had to do was go away, learn, be disciplined, improve, go back to school and come through and pass the test. He did all of that, and I thought it was such a mature, brilliant performance with great feet, with great movement, with great jab, with an engine that people said that he didn't have. Could have done 15 more rounds in that fight, So there was a huge amount of pressure on him, and he really had to focus and deliver a game plan. Times where he'd hurt Ruiz, and I just think, and you see the look in his eye, I go, no, just move, just keep moving. And I thought it was a great performance.
Now, he was 12 to 13 pounds lighter than the first fight. In the first fight, he kind of gassed out early, like in the third or fourth round. But in this fight, he didn't gas at all. I was one of the people who questioned his conditioning. Do you think that him being lighter, him being slimmer, less muscle mass will benefit him moving forward?
For sure, for sure. But I think he's changed his training. I mean, one of the reasons he wasn't so bulky is because he's taken a lot of strength work out and he's gone back to boxing. So he'd do more sparring, he'd do more pad work, more bad work. And I think some of what was happening was he would hurt a guy and then he would throw 30 punches, and then the lactic acid would kick in, and he'd stiffen up and get tired. Now, obviously in that fight, there wasn't spells where he was throwing 40 punches, loading up all the time. It was more cleaner work. But I think now he's really got that physique perfect. You won't always see him fight like that. Like, there's going to be some devastating performances, but he's just, in the ring after, he came up to me and went, it was a bit boring, wasn't it? I said, mate, look at your face. Like, you got hit 4 times, most of them around the back of the head. Like, that's boxing. So people at home, they're paying to watch you, but they're not paying your medical bills. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you've got to box smart, and sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do to try and actually get the win. And that was the way to beat Ruiz. And if he would have boxed like that in the first fight, it would have beat him easy. But he didn't, and he paid the consequences.
Now, the real question is, if he were to box like that against Deontay Wilder, then that's the question, because many people believe he would have to box like that against Wilder to stay away from the right hand. Do you think if he were to fight Wilder, that's the way you would have to fight? Box on the outside, stay away from the right hand?
I just think there's too much ego there for him to fight like that, and I don't think he should fight like that against Wilder. I think he has to mix it up. What you saw with Luis Ortiz was Luis Ortiz fundamentally outboxed Deontay Wilder for 6 or 7 rounds, and then just get hit by the equaliser, and it was over. So I don't think you want to be trying to outbox Deontay Wilder for 12 rounds, because he's always going to be dangerous. What you need to be is smart in your exchanges, but you've got to try and knock him out. Like, AJ can easily knock Deontay Wilder out, and Wilder can knock AJ out. That's what's so exciting about the fight. But you know that Wilder's a little bit vulnerable. AJ's probably a little bit vulnerable as well. That's what makes it so exciting. But you know that both guys have speed and power, and it's just an epic fight. Like, 2 fast, dangerous heavyweights, And I think he has to mix up the styles against Wilder. He has to outbox him, but he has to come in spurts, punish him, hurt him, and then at the right moments try and take him out, rather than the old style of AJ, which was gung-ho. When I look back now at, like, Klitschko fight, Dillian Whyte fight, Povetkin fight, when he's going for the kill, he's wide open. Like, he's only learned now that you don't need to do that. But he loves it. He loves doing that. And he'd do it against Wilder, and that's why it's dangerous. But, I believe he can knock Wilder out, but he can't just box off the back foot and, let Wilder walk him down and sling those big right hands over the top. He's got to be sharp in the exchanges, good defence, and outbox him, and then sting him and hurt him and knock him out.
I want you to put a wrap on this Dillian Whyte situation. He was cleared the day before the fight in Saudi Arabia without any wrongdoing. There was no denial of him testing positive for steroids. I want you to kind of reflect and just put a wrap on the whole situation with Dillian Whyte.
For sure. Well, now we've got the final conclusion from UCAD. He never tested positive for steroids. He never failed a drugs test. There was an adverse finding in his sample, which was completely investigated by UKAD, trace levels that was a contaminated supplement. It's all in their statement to say that he's now, even the test that he produced is a non-fail. So he's gone through that process. His name was just put in the dirt for months and months. People realised that the most frustrating thing was that he went through the process. He had a hearing before the fight. It wasn't like we just phoned up UKAD and went, brush it under the carpet and we'll just talk about it later. He went through the process, but now fully cleared, and now the fun starts with all the people that tried to ruin his career. And I wish him the best in that, and now he can get on with his career.
Okay, thanks, Eddie. Appreciate you.